Live from the Las Vegas studio, somewhere in Southwest Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm your host, Brad Stein. Welcome to Bettor Center Live and happy Labor Day. You can watch us daily, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on LouisDiamond.com. Also, check out YouTube at Louis Diamond. We have two pro handicappers joining us in the first segment, another two in the second segment, and all of them are here to make you money, me money, us money. Yesterday, big Tony Gullidge with the W on his most interesting play of the day with his Atlanta pick. Today, we're going to dive into college football, the NBA playoffs, and of course, some Major League Baseball. Then a little bit later, our handicappers will give their most interesting play of the day. But let's welcome back our two resident handicappers. First, we have Tony Gullidge coming off the big W with his Atlanta pick. He's hot as heck. And of course, Louis Bag of Diamonds, also called Louis Diamond. Welcome back to the show, guys.
Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Brad.
Yeah, top of the morning to you guys. Tony, man, you're on fire. What's going on here?
Wow. I guess it's been a little over about 5 or 6 weeks since they've started playing sports again. Been able to build up each little tick of information, the brick on the foundation, and finally hitting a good stride about 6 weeks in. Just want to keep this going. Right now I'm feeling pretty good, pretty confident. The way I'm making my picks is working. I don't want to change anything right now. Just keep it going. Thanks, Brad.
All right. And Louis Diamond, I'm assuming that you got your rub down. You're ready for your big hot picks today, right? You got that massage?
Oh, yeah. I'm always ready. Win, lose, or draw. You know, that's one thing about sports gambling. You got to be ready to bounce right back because if something didn't work yesterday, you got to find a way to make it work today. So, but, I lose my 14 parlay on my most interesting play of the day. But we still overall had a decent day, and it's been a fantastic week. So can't wait to see the week in review with all the winners that we had. But let's get some more winners here today. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. So am I. We all are because my wallet is a little light right now. Let's start with college football. Monday night college football. Love it. BYU +3 at Navy over under 55. Tony, what are your thoughts on this game?
Okay, I wrote a note down, and it's only 2 words. It's Malcolm Perry, quarterback for Navy that's not there anymore. I was looking over the guy that's going to replace him. I noticed with Navy, they had a bad year a couple years ago, right? So it's the dip. Last year was good. This year, I think, might be a dip again. I think early on, it might take this guy a little bit of time to get the option working. I think this leans to BYU's advantage a little bit. Their quarterback had some injuries, but he did play the last 3 games last season, had 300 yards passing in each game. So I'm going to give the edge here based on preparedness to go today. I'm going to I'm going to put money on BYU to get the win here against Navy tonight.
BYU. All right. BYU. Louis, do you agree, disagree? What are your thoughts?
I disagree. I think Tony, as hot as he is right now, I'm thinking he might burn a little bit of money there today. I am favoring Navy here today. But for those that have known me for the last 30 years in this sports gambling world, I will bet Navy blindly every time they are a road underdog. Now, I'm talking 30 years of road underdog with Navy. Why? They're disciplined. It's as simple as that. They don't get to go out on the weekends and party. They're a very disciplined team, and it shows on the road. And I'm going to take discipline here again today through all the COVID crisis. A team that's 5-0 and in home openers. And the steam went the other way on BYU and Tony, where it did open 1 for Navy. Now they become a home underdog. And trust me, the home underdog scenario is not like they are on the road underdog. So it's just a toss-up right there. But I believe discipline will be the difference. Give me a field goal. I'll take it.
Interesting piece of philosophy by Louis Bag of Diamonds. I like that. No, they don't party because they have tight security there. All right, let's go to the NBA. 2 playoff games. Ooh, that Laker game was good. They came back. The Raptors have come back now, and here we are. Celtics +1 at Raptors in Orlando with the over-under of 212.5. Louis, take it away.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And right now, what ain't broke is the under. So I am just gonna, I'm gonna lean that way. I don't think this is a dominating underplay. I think you might see Boston actually bring out the game of the year for them, and this could be a spot for the Celtics. But I'll be honest, I can't punch it hard either way, but I will lean Celtics and the under.
Tony, great white capper.
All right. This looks to me to be a great spot. Before the series start, I have to go through and kind of, in my mind, piece together the way this series is going to go. Came up with Toronto in a 6 or 7 game series. Tough fought. After the first couple games, obviously it looked dead in the water. A miracle 3-point shot got Toronto back in the series. We were on them in the game 4 win. I think they're going to keep carrying this momentum. The shooting, it's these role players. I made a note of the players like Boston putting a lot of emphasis on Jaylen Brown. If Jaylen Brown's not hitting the number of shots he's taking, it's going to hurt their team. So they're counting on the role players. I think Toronto's a little deeper. I think they have the ability to be more consistent, although it's been a ragged series to get to this point. I think Game 5 in a tied series is always crucial. I think the winner of a Game 5 gets it about 80% of the time, maybe a little higher. I think Toronto is going to win the series. Therefore, a Game 5 win from them would be what would have to take place to win the series. Give me Toronto in a close game, but at the end of this game, Toronto's going to pull it out. Put your money on Toronto.
All right, I'm writing down some notes here because I agree with you. I had Toronto winning the series, and I don't shy away from my picks. Great comeback, but that's going to be a great game tonight. Game number 2 in the NBA, which is our 3rd game here at the Bettor Center Live. We have the LA Clippers, -7.5 at the Denver Nuggets with an over-under of 220.5. Tony G, since you were so hot with that red hair, continue.
All right, yeah, the hair is definitely red, more like an orange, like an autumn orange. The Denver LA Clippers. I'll tell you what, I had LA winning the series, okay, but these spreads are right at what I have as a line. So the bookmakers are putting up numbers that are pretty good here. 9, but it's almost as if they're not fully understanding that there's no home court advantage here. These are bubble games. When you get up to close to double digits, and we're down to the final 8 teams, okay? So Denver's not chopped liver. I agree. Their defense is sketchy. I don't trust them to really be able to stop anybody, but what Denver has going for them is the ability to score points. But these games aren't going into the 120s, 130s where points get cheap. Points, aren't as cheap as they have been in the regular season in the NBA. I think the points here are going to be valuable. I really wouldn't put a big play here. My bigger play is on Toronto, but I'm also making a smaller play on the Nuggets and the points tonight. Denver plus the 9.
All right, thank you for your pick. Actually, Denver played very well defensively, especially against Kawhi and Paul George in Game 2. That's one of the reasons why they won. Doing a good job. I like how Jeremy Grant is sticking on him. Very athletic, long wing defender. Louis Diamond, do you have anything to add or subtract?
Honestly, I don't have much to add. I haven't really made any moves on the series. I know Tony has zigzagged his way through it so far, so I would I defer to Tony's opinion here.
All right. Let's move to Thursday NFL, the first game, Houston against the defending Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs, with no preseason, very little training camp. This is going to be the most strange, bizarre, interesting. There's that word, NFL season, at least of my lifetime. Kansas City -9.5, over under 54. Louis Bag of Diamonds, take us away with Thursday Night Football.
Okay, well, first off, it's a little bit, if you haven't made your move already, it's probably a little bit too early to make a move, I think. A couple notable numbers that you want to keep in mind going in is that the road team, or the Texans, are 2-8 on Thursday night games, so they haven't been able to show up on Thursday night. But the road team in this matchup has covered 75% of the time, 9-3. So you got a nice fat dog. Could be a hangover for the Chiefs. I think it might be a little bit too many to lay out of the gate. But I think what I'm going to do this week is really dig into the quotes, because this is more about what is being said in the locker room and what's the mindset for these teams, more so than what was last year's number. So I think what you really got to do is get into the quotes, listen to the players, listen to the coaches, get in their head, get yourself in the locker room. And as the week progresses, I plan to give you a solid opinion on this game.
Wow, I like that. Thank you very much. Tony G, what kind of nuggets could you throw at us?
Well, let's see. Kansas City, Houston, playoff game last year. Obviously, Houston got out to the huge lead, right? Just blew it. They spit the bit, as I like to say, and just gagged on it. And earlier in the season, right, Houston did get the win, actually. I think they did actually get a touchdown win over Kansas City. So you've seen that Houston, in most recent efforts, have been able to hang with Kansas City. And Kansas City coming in, obviously, Super Bowl win, all the expectations. The quarterback, Mahomes, giving him all this money, right? But I did just now getting to digest the final rosters. They just cut down the rosters, and it looks like most of their team's still intact. They really didn't make any, drop any salaries right at the end. I was wondering how they were going to play this, but they kept mostly everybody. Everything on paper makes me think I should take Houston in this spot. I think Louis even mentioned that the road teams have done well between these teams. I'm going to reserve judgment on a pick right now, but I might end up going contrarian due to the no preseason and just be a square chalk player in this opener, but I'm not sure yet. Interesting things are happening in the NFL. These games are going to be wild to watch and bet on, so we'll see how this plays out.
Yes, they are. And we all need a little bit of help with this. All right, let's move to Thursday night college football. We have one game, University of Alabama, Birmingham, at the University of Miami Hurricanes. The U -14, over under 47. Louis D, does anything look interesting in this game for you?
I'll be honest, Brad. I lost your feed there, so I do not know what you asked me. So I will, and we just covered the Kansas City game. So I'm
UAB Miami. They got UAB Miami on the screen there, Louis.
Okay, UAB Miami. There we go. All right, now we're back. And UAB Miami, I see as the second game for UAB, which gives them a little bit of an edge, but I think they're going to need a big edge in a game like this. The game opened up at 16, bet down to 13.5. So the early money is going against my early thoughts on the game. So I have to take a much deeper look. Same scenario. This is the week where you start looking at what's being said in the locker room, and then you try to marry it with the stats and the trends and the numbers. So stay tuned for me with more of that this week.
Yeah, I'll just add a note. Like I said, UAB has played a game. They didn't make the number in their 45-35 win over Central Arkansas. I noticed balanced offense. Looks like they could run and pass a little bit against an inferior team. You wonder against a little bit better team, probably that running game. That's usually the first thing that just gets ground to a halt is that running. You go from 200 yards rushing to basically nothing against better teams. So my lean, I put the number right at Vegas. So I think Vegas put a sharp number out. Just so happens that the number that I create matches what they put out. So, but the public bet it down. So that's interesting to me right off the bat. UAB didn't make the number, but yet the public, the number's going down. I'm going to hold my pick here, but I think my initial lean would be to take Miami, but nothing concrete on this one yet.
All right, guys, let's transition over to Diamond time, and that's not Louis Diamond. That is Major League Baseball. We're on the Diamond. Our first game is Detroit at Minnesota. Minnesota -200 with an over-under 9.5. Tony G, What do you got?
Okay. I mean, I'll be honest with this one. For my members card, it's a lower graded play, but I did put out Detroit to take the huge juice on. And my notes, I wrote down here that Detroit's pitchers, Fulmer, they're 4-2 in his starts. He doesn't go very long, about 3 innings. His numbers are horrible, but the Tigers are winning. And I noted that they're 2-0 in his road starts, both as huge underdogs, plus 180 at Cleveland and another plus 170 against a good team on the road. So just kind of, and Pineda hasn't done much. He just had the one start. He's coming back, so he really hasn't established himself in a good pattern as a pitcher. These games in this series have been close. I just like the spot at plus 188 is what I got for Detroit and Fulmer. Big underdog play, not a huge play, but a huge juice opportunity. I'm trying Detroit today.
Detroit. All right, Louis Diamond.
Okay, just seems we may be having some more technical. I'm going to give you my opinion on this game as well. I've been riding Minnesota under, as you know, if you've been watching the show. I will still ride them under at home right now with a record of 4-17 to the under. Scary though today, Fulmer 5-1 to the over, and as Tony alluded to, he's given up some runs. So, but they've been winning for him. So, all I can really do is keep my under, but just not as strong. So, I see the under in that play.
Lou, let's go to the most interesting play of the day. It's going to be Philadelphia Wheeler. Just a couple quick notes. Good price, I noted. Philadelphia with Wheeler on the mound. They're 5-2 in his 7 starts, 2.20 ERA. I noted for Wheeler that he actually gets quite a bit of work done in these games. He's averaging about 8. The lowest he's went is 17 outs in a starting. So he's getting almost 6 full innings. His opposition pitcher closer to 15. So both have good numbers, but the Mets bullpen is going to be more exposed today. I think the price with Philly, like I say, 113, good number. Most interesting play of the day for the Great White Capper is going to be on Philadelphia.
I hope so. I hope I'm with you because we're going to go to a commercial break. Hey, we're back. All right, wonderful. All right, coming up next, we have Tony C., the man on the street, plus more. 2 new cappers coming in, Ross Benjamin and, of course, the great Chip Chirimbas. That is next on Bettor Center Live.
Brad Stein here live from Las Vegas. Join us daily for Bettor Center Live with our professional handicappers, where you get sports information you can bet on. Stop gambling, start winning. Bettor Center Live.
Welcome back to Bettor Center Live. You can watch us on LouisDiamond.com. Also, check us out at YouTube at Louis Diamond. Very special thanks to both Tony Gullidge and Louis Diamond for their great insight on a lot of those games. But we are going to go to the man on the street, Tony C. I believe he's still in Texas, but I just wanted to say what a great job he did yesterday, giving us the under on the TCU Texas State game and that whole game plan, which was run the damn ball. Good job, Tony C. Let's go to you.
Thank you, Brad. Tony C. here, the man on the street. Just wave at me here. Can you hear me loud and clear now? We're looking good. Give me a thumbs up, Brad. Yes?
Yes.
All right, very well. All right, I hear you loud and clear, sir. As you see behind me, the home of the Dallas Cowboys, AT&T Stadium. However, as we go into the NFL 2020 season, the Cowboys open up at SoFi Stadium at the Los Angeles Rams in a primetime Sunday night event on NBC. And, of course, that's becoming about an annual event for them to open up somewhere on primetime. To talk a little bit about the Cowboys now, they really have a tough schedule this year, and they're opening up the first 3 games of their season against NFC playoff contenders or possible contenders. Week 1 at the Rams. Then they will open up right here behind me, week 2, against the Atlanta Falcons, another possible playoff team in the NFC, and then week 3 at Seattle. And to even go into greater depth into the AFC, they face the Cleveland Browns here in week 4. So probably their first 4 games of the season against potential playoff teams. As far as the rest of the NFC looks, you've got a dark horse in the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't see them making the grade here. We're going to talk a little bit here quickly about some totals here going into the season. Lou had mentioned earlier, Louis, bag of diamonds about. It's a little early to try and put some information on Thursday night's game, which he is correct, but it isn't too early to get on a futures bet, everybody. And for that futures play, and Chip and Ross obviously are out there listening as well, they understand, but we're looking at probably over 10 here for the Dallas Cowboys. It would be a great future play, and under 9.5 Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC East. To bring up the rear, I would have to say under Giants 6 and under 5 Washington Redskins. I'm going to go off the board on 2 other totals for you here in NFL. Before the season starts, we're going to go under 8 Chicago Bears. And in the AFC, we're going to go under 7.5 Las Vegas Raiders to round up the futures game there. As far as the Cowboys go, again, just quickly back to the Cowboys here. So again, they open at the Rams at SoFi Stadium. Week 2 here against Atlanta. The rest of their scheduling is the AFC North and the NFC West, so we'll see some good matchups there. Obviously, Week 1 Rams have got to play the 49ers, the Arizona Cardinals, and, of course, in Week 3 Seattle. So we're going to see some interesting football here. But the Cowboys, they only got stronger, Brad, in the offseason. They're that much better of a team, and they're much better than 9-7. I really see them achieving 11 or 12 wins here. And I'm going to throw it back to you from AT&T Stadium in Dallas, Texas. I'll throw it right back to you in the studio, Brad. Take it away.
Thank you, Tony C. Welcome back to Bettor Center Live on LouisDiamond.com. Also, YouTube at Louis Diamond. I'm your host, Brad Stein. We're going to bring in 2 new handicappers. Ross Benjamin and Chip Chirimbus going to join us for some more games.
Brad, how are you, Chipper? It's good to be seen.
All right, guys, let's start with game number 1. Yeah, it's great to see all of you. Tonight, college football, BYU +3 at Navy, over under 55. Chip, let's start with you and your thoughts of this game.
Well, I'm surprised at the number with BYU being this kind of a favorite because of Navy's home record. 13-3-1 in their last 17 and 7-1 as an underdog at home. The number moved. I guess this Zach Wilson coming back for BYU is the big thing. He's thrown for over 900 yards in his final 3 games of the season last year after an injury-plagued year, and yet he had 3,970 yards on the year passing. But this Navy team that has to replace Malcolm Taylor, we know he ran for 2,017 yards last year. But, talk about camaraderie. This Annapolis Navy team is together every day. There is no spring break. There is no going home because of the COVID virus. They are in unison. And I always like to play them early in the year because they've been together and they've worked together not only on the football field but in their daily lives. So I think Navy has an advantage there. I'm afraid of this number, though. BYU was only 7-6 last year. Navy was 11-2 with a bowl win. I was surprised that Navy is the underdog here, but maybe I'm barking up the wrong tree. But right now, I've got the midshipmen.
All right, Ross, I don't know. You're like smiling. Is that agree, disagree? What thoughts do you have?
I love listening to Chip talk. It makes me happy. That's all. Anyway, it's along those lines. First of all, the line in this game is BYU is -1 across the board, guys.
Okay,
maybe I'm incorrect, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Having said that, I agree with Chip, his assessment on Navy's home field advantage. I mean, they're 29-4 in their last 33 at home, and they play in a pretty darn good conference along the way. Last I checked, they played in the American Athletic Conference last year. They finished with 4 teams in the top 25, Chipper, and there's only one other conference, the SEC, who had more. With 5. Having said that, too, they're 12-0 in their last 12 non-conference home games. And let's not forget how hard it is to prepare for a triple option offense. Now, if this was their regular season opener, what I mean by that is they were originally scheduled to play Utah in their season opener. That game was canceled a few weeks back, and the athletic department had a scramble to get this game against Navy. So they've only had 3 weeks to prepare for a triple option attack. I have a lean toward Navy here, guys. I just think that I know they lost Malcolm Perry, but, BYU coming across the country and then having to play a tough team to prepare for with a strong home field, I'll have a lean toward the midshipmen here.
All right, thanks, guys. It's a lot of Navy that we've heard. I'm also jotting down some notes. Let's go to the NBA with our game number 2. The Celtics had opened up at +1 at the Raptors in our bubble, over under 212.5. Chip, anything interesting in this game?
Sure, it certainly is. I mean, Boston was within a heartbeat of just putting a nail in the coffin to this Raptor team. A miracle shot with zero point 0.5 seconds to go wins game 3. Instead of being down 3-0, they're down 1-2. They come back and win game 4. I'm pretty happy about this series because I've done very well with it. And I'll tell you, I have no problem coming back with Toronto here. I think the mojo is on their side. I think the Celtics have to be looking at, no matter what, the fact that they could have been up 3-0 within a half second, and here they are fighting for their lives right now. Game 5 with the series all even up. I don't count too much on with the statistics or the trends because these games are in the bubble. And Boston is a great club, there's no question. But I just think there's a mojo thing going on right now, and karma is going to bite you in the end. And I have to play Toronto here. And that's simply off that shot from game 3, which turned the whole series around. We've seen it happen. Cleveland was down 3-1. We've seen in the series that Golden State and things happen. And all of a sudden, bang, is a whole new outlook. Yankees and Red Sox back in 2004. I'm still sick about that one.
Ross, mojo or no mojo with the Toronto Raptors, the defending NBA champions?
Look, I mean, Chipper makes a good point. They make that miracle shot at the end of game 3. Big difference between being down 3-0 and 2-1, and it showed in game 4. I'm not going to look at the side in this game. I like the total in this game. I think we're looking at this an under here. I really think that Toronto has solved offensively, especially in the last game. You saw signs of that. And then you saw a Toronto team that made 18 threes in the last game, yet that game still stayed under the total. The pace of this game, pace of the games in this series has been far from high tempo. So I'm going to have a very, very small lean here, Brad, on going under the total of 212 in this game.
Okay, game number 3. That would be our second game in the NBA playoffs. Let's stay with you, Ross. The Clippers opened up at -7.5 at the Denver Nuggets, over under 220.5. Is there anything interesting in this game that I should take notes and place a bet?
Well, the Clippers, I mean, this looks like a zigzag theory to me. Clippers win and cover game 1. Denver wins game 2. Keep in mind, they're 6-0 straight up in ATS in their last 6 games following a loss, which they lost game 2. Also, Denver, you mentioned, Brad, in the first segment, how well they played defensively in game 2 of the series, and you're absolutely correct. However, the last time they played that good defensively was in game 7 against the Utah Jazz. In the following game, which was the opener in this series, the Clippers shot 57%. I'm going to have a lean here toward the LA Clippers lay the points over Denver in game 3 of the series.
All right. Chip, agree,
Yes.
disagree?
Well, great minds must think alike because I would take the favorite here as well. I'm having Denver in the last contest, and you know, Ben, Ross is probably right about this being a zigzag series, and I don't have any problems laying it here. I'm really just looking at the earlier game as my play of the day, but I would lay it before I take it.
All right, guys, let's move to Thursday night NFL. It's game number 1, COVID-19, no training camp. We discussed that earlier. No preseason, very little of anything. Houston at Kansas City. Kansas City opened up -9.5, over under 54. We'll stay with you, Chippers. Got anything on this?
Well, it's a huge game, and of course, there's so much more information that we're going to need to be able to have before we post a side on this contest. But you know, last year Houston played Kansas City tough twice. One time blowing a 24-0 lead, and I'm wondering how that remains on their psyche. I also am not pleased with the Houston coaching and the personnel moves they made during the offseason. But that being said, this is a huge number, particularly on a season opener on a Monday night. And I would believe the trends, for the most part, when they get to this 9.5 and 10, which most likely it's going to reach, because, well, then again, maybe they're going to take the Houston club here. I'm not so sure, but I'm going to have to wait on the side on this. Mahomes, of course, is going to be a key factor, but I just have no confidence in O'Brien or Houston at all.
I agree, but it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what you think, Ross Benjamin.
Yeah, I agree with Chipper in the fact that it's a little too early to make a definitive call right now on this game. But I will say this. This is for public knowledge, okay? Thursday night home openers. Since this whole annual thing is taking place, the home teams are 14-3 straight up, and also a very good, I believe, 14-3 straight up and 10-3 for ATS. And if it's the Super Bowl defending champion opening at home on a Thursday night, that number improves to 12-1 straight up and 8-1 for ATS. Certainly favors Kansas City in this spot, the home opener after winning the Super. If a hangover is going to happen, it's not going to happen in your season opener at home, I don't think. But again, that's a lot of points to lay against a quality team. I do agree with Chip. I think Bill O'Brien, I don't know how he hangs on to his job. The guy is self-destructive in his decisions. But having said all that, I'm going to pass on this right at the moment.
All right, I totally agree with that. Bill O'Brien, I went after him on my podcast. Same thing. I don't know how he keeps his job. I guess maybe no one else wants to coach Houston. That's the only thing I can think of. We'll go to Thursday night college football again. So we're in the future, a couple days, very similar. We have UAB at Miami, and it opened up at -14. A lot of points, but it is the U. Over under 47. We'll stay with you, Ross. Are you ready to make a play yet?
Yeah, it's too early for me on this game. Look, here's the thing. Lou Diamond mentioned in the first segment that UAB is going to have a slight advantage because they're playing their second game against a Miami team opening their season. You could look at the flip side, and that's a good point. But you could also look at the flip side that Miami's had an opportunity to watch UAB on film already. I will say this, UAB coming off a strong year last year, but the couple times that they had to step up in class last year, they didn't measure up whatsoever. So I'd be a little leery toward taking the points like the general public seems to be doing early on. And again, I'll probably have more of a stronger opinion on Wednesday or Thursday in this game.
All right, that leaves you, Chip.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Kane fan, to tell you the truth. I've been following this team for years, and being down in South Florida many times to see him play. They've had so much turmoil down there, and now it looks like they've moved in a quarterback that was backing up Clemson's starter and for a couple of years. I really don't know what they're going to do with the new coaching down there, and information has been very, very mum out of Miami. Usually by this time, Ross, we've had 2 or 3 arrests coming out of the borough, and there's all kinds of issues and problems, and players being stopped with weapons. There may be a new culture down there, but one team that has a game under its belt that's coming off a fine season, and they've bounced back after point spread losses, 6-1 in the last 7. I'd have a tendency to want to take the dog here, but I'm really waiting to see what's coming out of Miami, because this is going to be like, your October surprise, which we always end up with. Something's going to happen down there, I'm sure. I mean, I'm still wondering why Mark Richt left that job. And, he just walked off the job. It may have been health reasons, but that was his dream job, and he went and got it, and within one season, he just walked off that job. There may still be lingering problems on the campus in Miami.
All right, guys, let's do the most interesting play of the day. We're low on time. We'll start with you, Chip, since you just gave us so much good information. What is your most interesting play of the day?
Well, I'm looking at the Toronto and the Yankees. Here's Toronto, who's a mediocre team, ahead of the Yankees in the standings, by the way. $1.40 at home. And Montgomery's pitching for the Yankees, and he's thrown really, really well. But the problem is Aaron Boone yanks him way too early in games, and then the Yankees falter from that point on. But $1.40 for it over a team that has 5 players yesterday that started under the average of 200, and the 6th player that was over 200 was at 201. The Yankee lineup is decimated. They just don't get there. And Rue, the pitcher, came from the Dodgers over to Toronto, been very successful, great control, throwing strikes. I'm going to take Toronto over the Yankees, and these Yankees do not resemble the Bronx Bombers in any manner, shape, or form.
Oh, Ross, are you going to take that, Ross? What's your interesting play of the day?
Well, I know. Listen, Chipper's a Yankee fan like me. I agree with him 100%. So if that means anything, hopefully I don't curse him because I feel the same way in terms of this matchup and just about everything he said. The Yankees right now, they score like 5 runs in their last 3 games at Baltimore. Historically, to hit great there. Anyway, let's get to my interesting play today. And that comes in the Arizona-San Francisco game being played in San Francisco. I'm going to look at the total in this game, guys, which is 8. This is an Arizona team that just can't hit the way out of a paper bag right now. You're looking at they scored 3 runs or less in 7 of their last 8 games. I'll tell you, this Zach Gallen, Chip, keep an eye on this kid. I think he's a future Cy Young winner. I've been saying this since the start of the year. He just gets he's 5-3 in his team starts. He's accounted for a third of Arizona's wins this year, and he probably should be a lot better considering in those 8 starts a 1.80 ERA and an 0.90 WHIP. And the San Francisco, you look at their hitting statistics over the last 7 games, a little bit askew because remember, this is a San Francisco team last week that scored 23 runs and had 27 hits in 1 game at Colorado. Not going to happen to get Gallen. Terrific pitcher. And Kevin Gausman, I'm not crazy about him, but, this would be his first start against Arizona this year. Last year, 2 starts against Arizona, only 3 earned runs allowed and 13 innings pitched. I'm going to go under the total here, guys. I'm going to take the Arizona Diamondbacks and San Francisco Giants to go under 8. And I'm going for my 3rd straight most interesting game of the day win. Last Thursday and Friday, winners on the Chicago White Sox and Seattle. Back on Monday. Go under here. Arizona, San Francisco, under 8.
Who's keeping track, right, Ross? How can we find more information about you? How can we follow you if I need to get a toy truck for my son?
You can go to my website. Thank you for asking. You can go to my website, which is rossbenjaminsports.com or rbwins.com, whatever URL you prefer. Takes you to the same landing page. I got a 10-star top play up right now on the college football game tonight. Also, I'll have Major League Baseball picks and an NBA pick as well. If you go there, I have a 7-day and a 30-day package. You get my personal guarantee. If you don't make a profit at the end of the 7 days or at the end of the 30 days, whichever you purchase, I will extend your package until you do. I just have confidence in my ability to make my customers money over the long haul. And that's rbwins.com. Thank you for asking me, Brad.
You are welcome. And Chip, how can we get in touch with you and follow you?
All right. Before I get into that, Brad, I want to comment on Zach Geller, who Ross pointed out has been so effective this year. 50 innings pitched, only 32 hits allowed. Arizona's been one of my plays today, and you can get that at chipwins.com. I post my 3 top plays every day, and there are packages there as well in each and every sport. And, of course, yesterday coming off a 3-0 Major League Baseball day, we're 7-1 in our last 8 releases in MLB. So log on, follow the buy links, become a winner, and don't forget to play the most interesting play of the day today, the Toronto. Are they the Raptors? No, they're the Blue Jays. We get these seasons so confused nowadays.
Buffalo Blue Jays, Chip.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We'll see you next time on Bettor Center Live for more information and picks. Thank you to all the handicappers, Louis D, Tony G, Dell, Ross, and Chip Chirimbus. Special thanks to our producer, director, Mr. Eugene Stewart. Thank you. And remember, if you don't play, you won't win. Bettor Center Live, I'm Brad.